И вот так интересно. То, что угодно Богу, современный мусульманин знает. А то, что угодно Богу, современный крещеный не знает. Они и горячие, они и посты соблюдают. Когда их праздник, люди боятся даже в этот квартал заходить, потому что десятки тысяч молодых мужчин стоят на коленях и молятся Богу. Где вы видели столько православных мужиков? Нигде и никогда. Только одни бабы.
Hello, Muslim friends of the world. Shocking news comes from the Orthodox Catholic high priest who acknowledged the truth of Islam. Dmitri Smirnov stated this in front of hundreds of his congregation during a mass sermon while crying. Dmitri Smirnov, the Orthodox Catholic high priest, not only acknowledged the truth of Islam but also said that the future of Russia belongs to Muslims. Although Dmitri Smirnov is an Orthodox Catholic high priest, he saw something unique in Muslims, one of which was during their prayer service. Millions of people worship regularly at the same time and place, each occupying their own row, and this does not need to be explained, Dmitri said. Then where do you see Christians around the world worship together? This is completely absent in Christianity, he continued. These statements were made by Dmitri during a mass sermon in front of hundreds of congregants. Moreover, he also said that Russia would be dominated by Muslims, considering the growing number of locals who are converting to Islam. Now and in the future, Russia's future will belong to Muslims, he said. There are now approximately 23 million Muslims in Russia, while the number of Christians has declined to 18 million. Dmitri then recounted the story of a young Muslim man who selflessly drove and picked up an elderly woman so that she could attend church services in Moscow. The young Muslim did not expect any payment because, in Islam, it is forbidden to take a fee from the elderly, the poor, the orphans, and others in need. Dmitri confessed to his congregation that he did not find similar behavior among Christian youths. Do you not feel how the process of atonement for sins is handled? Everyone must pay your priest, whether they are poor or elderly, they must give compensation during the ritual of forgiveness, he said. According to him, Muslims greatly emphasize ethics and politeness. As for Islam being associated with terrorism, Dmitri said that this is just a baseless issue. It has been proven that many Russians and Europeans have decided to convert to Islam because they realize that Islam is not as cruel as it is accused of being. It is a fact that Islam is now the largest religion in Russia, he said while crying. In the coming decades, Islam is predicted to become the majority religion worldwide, overtaking Christianity, which is currently the largest religion globally. This prediction is based on various demographic studies and population growth conducted by international research institutions. According to a report by the Pew Research Center, the Muslim population worldwide is expected to grow faster than any other religious population. One of the main factors driving this growth is the high birth rate in countries with Muslim majorities, as well as an increase in conversion rates to Islam in various parts of the world. The report indicates that by 2070, the number of Muslims is expected to be on par with the number of Christians, and it is likely to surpass it in the years following. Another contributing factor is the relatively young Muslim population compared to other religious populations, meaning there are more people of childbearing age within the Muslim community. In Indonesia, which is the country with the largest Muslim population in the world, this trend is also evident. The steady growth of the Muslim population and the active role of the Muslim community in social and political life are strengthening Islam as a national identity. Moreover, Urbanization and globalization are also driving the spread of Islam to regions that previously had small Muslim populations. In Europe and the United States, for example, Muslim communities continue to grow, both through immigration and conversion. However, this population increase also presents its own challenges. Some parties are concerned about the potential for interreligious conflict that could arise from these demographic changes. Therefore, it is important for governments and religious communities to promote constructive interfaith dialogue to prevent tensions and ensure strong social cohesion in the future. In a global context, this development reflects the ever-changing dynamics of religion in tandem with social, political, and economic changes. The prediction that Islam will become the majority religion highlights the significant role religion will play in shaping the future of the world. Nevertheless, experts emphasize that these numbers are merely predictions, and many other factors could influence the direction of population growth in the future. What is clear is that this development underscores the importance of strengthening understanding and tolerance among religious communities around the world. Churches in Russia have started experiencing a significant decline in congregational attendance in recent years. This phenomenon has raised concerns among religious leaders and social observers about the future of the Orthodox Christian faith, which has been a key spiritual identity of the Russian nation for centuries. Recent data from various surveys and media reports indicate that an increasing number of Russians, particularly among the younger generation, are choosing not to attend church services regularly. Although the Russian Orthodox Church remains an influential institution, the number of actively religious congregants continues to dwindle. Several factors are believed to contribute to this decline. One of them is the social changes that have taken place in post-Soviet Russia, where secularism and modernity are increasingly dominant. Many Russians, especially in major cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, prefer a more secular and materialistic lifestyle, abandoning the religious traditions that were once highly valued. Additionally, criticism of the Russian Orthodox Church's perceived close ties with the government has also been a reason why many people feel alienated from the Church. Some see the Church more as a political institution rather than a spiritual one, which in turn reduces its appeal to those seeking a pure religious experience. The COVID-19 pandemic that struck the world also impacted the religious practices of the population. During the pandemic, many churches in Russia were closed or had their activities restricted, forcing congregants to seek alternative ways of worship, such as through online services. However, after the restrictions were lifted, many did not return to church but continued with new habits or even stopped religious activities altogether. Despite this, some church leaders remain optimistic. They believe that this decline is only temporary and that there is potential for a spiritual revival in the future. Some churches have begun to adopt more modern approaches to attract congregants, such as through social media and more inclusive community activities. However, these changes also signify a major challenge for the Russian Orthodox Church in maintaining its relevance and influence in an increasingly changing society. In the face of the digital age and globalization, the Church must find ways to remain relevant to a new generation that may no longer identify with strict religious traditions. This decline in congregation numbers also reflects a broader shift in Russia's religious landscape, which may continue to change over time. While the Orthodox Church remains an important symbol in Russian culture, the reality shows that its presence and influence in society may not be as strong as it once was.